this video is about. Anubis judges SOULS until chaos ARRIVES. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. In the eternal shadow of the Duat, where the realm of the dead met the light of the living, Anubis sat upon his ebony throne, draped in rich silks woven from the darkness of night. His jackal head, keen and watchful, surveyed the endless procession of souls slipping from the mortal realm into his domain. Each entered with a whisper, a flicker of hope dancing in their eyes, eager for judgment, for revelation of their eternal fates. From opulent palaces to humble cottages, the souls arrived, warriors whose swords had tasted blood, lovers who died with unfulfilled promises, and children whose lives flickered like candles, extinguished too soon. Anubis, the silent arbiter of their destinies, held the sacred scales, one side poised for the weight of the heart, the other cradling a single feather, the emblem of Mad, the goddess of truth. Murmurs reverberated through the chamber of the dead, a soft symphony of fears and regrets. Each soul, as they stepped forward, felt the heavy gaze of Anubis, bearing witness to their lives, their choices, and the shadows of their pasts. "Speak your names," he commanded in a voice that echoed like a distant storm. "Bastet," a warrior rasped, his voice tremulous. "I fell while defending my village against marauders." Anubis nodded, urging him to continue. "I fought bravely but lost my life in the flames of battle." The heart, heavy with the weight of sacrifice, shimmered in the light of the torches flickering around him. Anubis lifted the scales, placing the heart on one side and the feather on the other, waiting. As the heart sank, the feather floated effortlessly, and Anubis declared, "Your valor and honor grant you passage to the fields of Aru." The warrior bowed and stepped toward the ethereal light, a deep satisfaction washing over him as his essence floated away. Yet for every soul that passed, there were others whose hearts were tainted, burdened with sins too heavy to bear. "Nefari," Anubis called to a soul that slunk forward, eyes darting, a thief in life, now caught in the web of judgment. "I survived by cunning, Lord Anubis. I stole to feed my family." The plea dripped from his lips, a last desperate gambit. Anubis, unmoved by the words, weighed the heart, dark and heavy, against the feather that seemed to shimmer with an unearthly glow. As the scales tipped, the weight of despair overwhelmed Nefari. "No, I did what I had to," he cried, but Anubis silenced him with a gesture. "Your misdeeds outweigh the justifications. The void of chaos awaits you." With a grim finality, the soul was cast into the abyss, swallowed by shadows, the echoes of his cries fading into the dark. The chamber was filled with the soft rustle of wings as Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom, entered. His presence was a balm amidst the strife. "Anubis, my brother, the balance of souls is threatened. A discordant force stirs in the mortal realm, a harbinger of chaos." "What do you mean, Thoth?" Anubis questioned, his voice steady yet laced with concern. "The scales must remain just, the souls must be judged." "An ancient power awakens," Thoth replied, urgency threading through his words. "The remnants of Set, the god of chaos, seek revenge. They aim to breach the barriers between realms, to unleash pandemonium among the living and the dead." The air crackled with tension as the implications settled. Anubis rose from his throne, the weight of responsibility pressing heavily upon him. "We must prepare. If Set's minions invade the Duat, the balance will be shattered, and souls will be lost to eternal torment." Just as Anubis and Thoth plotted their countermeasures, a thunderous roar reverberated through the Duat, shaking the very foundation of the afterlife. From the depths of chaos, a monstrous figure emerged, an amalgam of shadow and fury, a creature conjured from the nightmares of the living. "Anubis," it bellowed, a voice laced with malice. "Your reign ends today. The blood of the innocent will flow, and the scales will tremble with the weight of chaos." The creature lunged, a whirlwind of claws and fangs, aiming to disrupt the sacred balance. Anubis, ever vigilant, sprang into action. He drew his ceremonial dagger, the blade glinting ominously in the dim light. You dare challenge the Lord of the Dead? Face your judgment." He slashed through the air, a bolt of divine energy radiating from his weapon, striking the creature. The creature howled, recoiling, tendrils of chaos writhed around it. "You cannot hold back the tide. I am the harbinger of despair, and I bring judgment to your kind." With a swift motion, Thoth conjured scrolls of protection, casting them into the fray. "We must strengthen the wards. The souls are vulnerable." He shouted, weaving patterns in the air with his hands, invoking spells of ancient power. The battle raged, a tempest of divine confrontation and chaos. Anubis danced between shadows and light, striking the monstrous entity with precision. With each blow, he could feel the scales of fate shifting, threatened by the weight of despair. "Anubis, focus on the heart." Thoth yelled, trailing behind, channeling energy from the souls of the brave warriors already lost. To weaken it, we must sever its connection to the chaos. Summoning the strength of the souls he had judged, Anubis concentrated, weaving their courage into a blade of light. As the creature lunged again, he thrust the radiant weapon into its chest. "In the name of Maat, I deliver your judgment." The creature writhed, shrieking as the light pierced its essence, unraveling the threads of chaos that bound it to the mortal realm. "I will return." The chaos within, it gasped, dissolving into shadows that scattered into the void. Panting, Anubis surveyed the aftermath, heart pounding in his chest. "This is not over," he murmured, fear intertwining with resolve. The echoes of chaos lingered, a reminder that the balance was fragile. Thoth approached, weary yet determined. "Anubis, we cannot fight this battle alone. We must summon the gods. Allies are needed if we are to prevent Set's resurgence." Together they forged a plan, a summons to the pantheon to gather the strength and wisdom of their kin. As the stars shimmered above the duet, Anubis began to chant, calling upon the names of the deities, their power mingling with his voice. "Isis, Osiris, Horus, heed my call. The realm of the dead and the living is threatened by darkness." His voice echoed through the corridors of the afterlife, seeking unity. As the stars aligned, the gods began to descend from their celestial thrones, each bearing the weight of their own realms, each embodying the hope of the living and the dead. Anubis knew that only united could they face the chaos brewing beyond the veil. But amongst them, shadows lingered, whispers of betrayal, a seed planted by Set himself, eager to exploit the cracks that would inevitably form in their alliance. The gods were powerful, but were they wise enough to see the true threat before them? Thus began a gathering of titans amid the tumult, a clash of wills and destinies that would reverberate through the ages. The war against chaos had begun, and its outcome would reshape the very fabric of existence. Little did they know, the path ahead was fraught with trials and sacrifices, for in the heart of chaos lay truths that could unravel the bonds of the divine. Anubis felt the pulse of destiny beneath his feet, a harbinger of tragedy, but also of hope. The battle for balance had only just begun. Anubis stood at the precipice of the duet, the stars shimmering above him as the pantheon gathered. The air crackled with raw energy, thick with the weight of impending conflict. Faces of gods carved from the essence of legends lit the shadows. Isis with her nurturing grace, Osiris, the embodiment of resurrection, Horus, fierce and watchful, wings unfurled in defiance of the darkness. "Anubis," Isis spoke, her voice a soothing melody amidst the storm. "What chaos threatens our realms?" "The remnants of Set awaken, seeking to breach the border between life and death," Anubis replied, urgency lacing his tone. "Their tendrils of despair have already encroached upon us, and if we do not act swiftly, the balance will be lost." Osiris stepped forward, his emerald robes flowing like the Nile's current. "Then we must forge our strength together. The souls of the departed are counting on us to protect the cycle of existence." Horus, his falcon eyes fierce with determination, nodded. "We cannot allow Set's influence to spread. We must strike before the chaos takes root. Then we shall purge the darkness," Anubis declared, raising his dagger high, its blade glinting like a shard of the moon. "We unite under the banner of Mad, and we shall not falter." As their voices melded, a rift tore through the fabric of reality, a portal of chaos, swirling with shadows and the cries of lost souls. From it erupted a legion of grotesque monsters, birthed from Set's darkest dreams. Their eyes glowed with malice, teeth bared in eager anticipation of destruction. "Warriors of the Duet," Anubis shouted, rallying the gods, "stand firm against the tide of despair." With a roar that echoed across the afterlife, the monsters charged, a storm of claws and fangs. Anubis leapt into action, his dagger slicing through the air as he danced among the chaos. Each heartbeat thrummed with the memories of the souls he had judged. Their courage lent strength to his strikes. Anubis plunged his blade into the hide of a beast as it lunged toward him, the creature howling in agony. "For every innocent lost, we shall avenge," he cried, his voice a battle hymn. Isis summoned a torrent of life-giving energy, weaving it into vines that ensnared the beasts and bound them in shimmering light. "Hold them. We shall not let them claim dominion over the realms," she shouted, her hands glowing with divine power. Osiris raised his staff, calling forth the spirits of the fallen warriors, their spectral forms rising to join the fray. "Rise, my brothers, fight for your freedom, fight for the cycle." The warriors surged forward, ethereal swords in hand, clashing against the dark creatures. The duet erupted into a symphony of battle, the clash of steel against claws, the cries of the brave echoing in an eternal chorus. Horus soared above the battlefield, his wings casting shadows like a storm cloud. He dive-bombed onto a horde of monsters, talons raking through their flesh. "You dare defile this realm," he screeched, a fierce warrior in his element. But amidst the chaos, a deeper shadow lurked, watching the struggle unfold with keen eyes. From the depths of the rift, a demonic figure emerged, a twisted reflection of Anubis, Set's herald, an embodiment of chaos forged from darkness and despair. "Foolish gods," it hissed, voice dripping with venom. "Your unity is but a flicker against the abyss. All will crumble before me," it continued, extending its clawed hand. "I shall feast on your fears, and the hearts of mortals shall be my banquet." Anubis, sensing the malevolent force, steeled his resolve. "I will not allow you to claim our legacy," he shouted, rallying his brothers and sisters. "We are the guardians of balance, and we will not falter." The tides of battle surged and ebbed, warriors falling but rising again, their spirits unyielding. The monsters fought fiercely, but the gods combined their powers, forging a wall of light against the encroaching shadows. Yet even as they fought, doubt crept into Anubis' heart. Would their unity be enough? "Thoth," Anubis called through the chaos, spotting his brother amidst the fray. "We need your wisdom. We must find a way to sever this connection to Set." Thoth, surrounded by scrolls and glyphs, nodded, focusing his energy. "Together, we can form a barrier, but it will require a sacrifice, a willing heart to bind the realms and sever the chaos. Who will make this sacrifice?" Anubis questioned, dread pooling within him. The stakes were high, and the price seemed insurmountable. "I will," said a voice, steady and unwavering. It was Osiris, stepping forward, the embodiment of sacrifice and resurrection. "As the Lord of the Dead, my essence can anchor the barrier. I will become the tether that holds chaos at bay." "Osiris, no," Anubis protested, fear gripping his heart. "There must be another way, your sacrifice." "It is the only way," Osiris interrupted, resolve etched across his brow. "I will endure the darkness so that life may flourish beyond. Do not resist my choice, brother." With tears in his eyes, Anubis grasped Osiris' shoulders. "Then let us forge this barrier together, bound by our shared fates." As the gods joined hands, a circle of light formed, pulsating with their collective power. Anubis felt the weight of his brother's decision settle around him like an unshakable mantle. Together, they channeled their energies into a single point, a beam of brilliance that surged toward the rift. Now, Anubis shouted, his voice rising above the chaos. "For the balance." The light struck the rift, a cataclysmic wave bursting forth, ripping through the darkness. Anubis felt the resonance of every soul he had judged, every sacrifice made, resonate within him. The presence of Osiris was a warmth, a reminder of hope amidst despair. As the beam of light enveloped the rift, the monstrous creatures wailed, their forms disintegrating into wisps of shadow. The herald of Set, however, stood firm, twisting in agony as the light encroached. "I will not be denied," it screeched, claws raking the air. "I will return, and when I do, you will all tremble before the chaos." But with a final surge of unity, Anubis drove the light deep into the heart of the rift. "You are judged," he declared, a clarion call that reverberated through the realms. The rift shattered, fragments of chaos imploding into themselves, leaving behind a serene stillness. The creatures were vanquished, their dark cries fading into the void, leaving only the whispers of the lost souls behind. Anubis fell to his knees, breathless, heart heavy with the weight of what had transpired. The barrier sealed, but he felt the absence of Osiris' presence, a void left by the sacrifice. "Brother, you have given everything," Anubis lamented, a tear tracing down his cheek. "I will carry your legacy." Horus landed beside him, wings shrouded in sorrow. "We shall honor him, Anubis. His sacrifice will not be forgotten. We must ensure that the balance persists in his name." Isis knelt too, placing a comforting hand on Anubis' shoulder. "Together, we will rebuild. The cycle will continue, and one day Osiris will rise again." As dawn broke across the duet, painting the sky with hues of gold and crimson, Anubis looked toward the horizon. The battle had been won, but the echoes of chaos would linger, a reminder of what they had fought for and what they stood to protect. "Let us walk forward united," Anubis murmured, rising to his feet, determination igniting within him. "In honor of Osiris, we shall guard the balance, for the realms of the living and the dead are forever intertwined." And so, the gods, bound by loss and remembrance, took their place amidst the tapestry of existence, vowing to uphold the cycle and protect the sacred scales from the encroaching shadows of chaos. The legacy of their sacrifice would endure, a beacon of hope shimmering in the night, for even in darkness they would find the light. As the first light of dawn seeped into the duet, Anubis felt the ache of grief wrap around him like a shroud. The loss of Osiris hung heavily in the air, an unspoken weight that resonated in the hearts of the gods gathered. The battlefield was now a solemn echo of ferocity, littered with the remnants of chaos, a stark reminder of the price paid. "Brother," Thoth spoke, his voice a gentle cadence amidst the solemn atmosphere. "We have quelled the immediate threat, but the remnants of Set's influence still linger like shadows in the corners of our realm." Anubis gazed into the distance, the horizon painted with the hues of a new dawn, yet the darkness in his heart refused to dissipate. "Indeed, Thoth, the chaos has been staved off, but we must remain vigilant. Set lurks in the shadows, waiting for a moment of weakness, a chink in our armor." Horus, still clad in the remnants of battle, stepped forward, his fierce gaze matching Anubis's intensity. "We will fortify the borders of the duet. We cannot allow Set's minions to fester and regroup. They will strike again." Isis, her hands trembling with the remnants of divine energy, nodded in agreement. "The cycles of life and death are delicate. If we do not reinforce the boundaries, despair will seep back into our souls and those of the living. We must prepare for the inevitable resurgence." With a heavy heart, Anubis raised his dagger, the blade reflecting the newfound resolve. "Then let this be our rallying cry. We will not only guard the duet but reclaim the sanctity of the living world. The balance must be restored." Their united voices echoed like a hymn within the chambers of the afterlife, a pledge to honor Osiris's sacrifice. They gathered their energies, intertwining their powers, forging a shimmering barrier around the rift, sealing it against the darkness. Yet as they worked, tendrils of chaos slithered across the land, whispering promises of vengeance and despair. Unbeknownst to the gods, Set watched from the void, his laughter a sinister melody that echoed through the shadows. "Fools," he chuckled, the sound reverberating like thunder through the darkness. Your feeble attempts to stave off my return will only lead you to ruin. The hearts of mortals shall tremble before my chaos, and the balance will shatter. From the depths of his lair, a horde of grotesque creatures stirred, festering with a hunger for vengeance. They had witnessed their brethren fall at the hands of the gods, and their fury burned like a wildfire. Among them stood Khepri, a monstrous beetle-like entity, once a guardian, now corrupted by Set's influence. "Master," Khepri growled, his voice a deep rumble, "allow me to lead the charge. I will rend the skies and bring about the end of these gods. They have tasted victory, but I will ensure they know the true meaning of despair." Set's eyes gleamed with malice. "Yes, Khepri, lead your brethren into battle. Let the gods quake in fear as you unleash the chaos I have bestowed upon you. The Jewett shall weep and the scales shall tremble." As Khepri rallied the dark forces, Anubis and the other gods fortified their defenses, aware that time was slipping through their fingers like grains of sand. The rift, though sealed, pulsated with energy, a reminder that chaos was merely waiting for an opportunity to reclaim its hold. Days turned to weeks, and the gods dedicated themselves to the task of reinforcing the barriers, crafting wards and enchantments that shimmered like stars against the encroaching shadows. Yet as they worked, Anubis felt the pull of destiny, a whisper of prophecy threading through his mind. "The scales are shifting," he murmured to Thoth one evening, the air thick with the scent of incense and the flicker of candlelight. "I can sense a reckoning approaching, an inevitable clash that will determine the fate of both realms." Thoth adjusted his spectacles, pondering the weight of Anubis's words. "Then let us turn our focus inward. We must seek the wisdom of the ancient texts. There may be secrets hidden within that can aid us in this battle." Gathering around a stone table etched with sacred symbols, the gods pored over scrolls, their energies blending as they searched for a glimmer of hope amidst the despair. Hours turned into days, and the search weighed heavily upon them, an invisible burden pressing against their shoulders. At last, a revelation emerged from the depths of a scroll, illuminated by the soft golden light. "Here," Thoth exclaimed, pointing to a passage. "It speaks of a hidden weapon, a relic forged in the fires of creation. It possesses the power to vanquish chaos and restore the balance." Anubis leaned closer, heart racing. "Where can we find this relic? We must retrieve it before Khepri and Set unleash their onslaught." Thoth traced his fingers along the ancient glyphs. "It lies in the heart of the desert of the forgotten, guarded by the Sphinx, a creature of riddles and trials. Only the pure of heart may pass." Horus's eyes gleamed with determination. "Then we shall embark on this quest together. We will face the Sphinx and claim the relic, for the fate of the realms rests upon our shoulders." The gods summoned their strength, binding their fates as they prepared for the journey ahead. With Anubis leading the charge, they ventured through the ethereal gates of the Jewett, stepping into the harsh sands of the mortal realm. The sun blazed overhead, relentless in its heat as they traversed the desert of the forgotten. The landscape stretched endlessly, dunes shifting like the tides of fate, whispering secrets of lost souls. Yet amidst the harshness, Anubis felt the pulse of destiny guiding them. "Remember," he cautioned the gods, "the Sphinx will test our resolve. We must remain united, for the trials are not merely physical but a battle of the soul." As they advanced, the air thickened with tension, the silence punctuated by the distant echoes of the past. Then, like a mirage shimmering in the burning sands, the Sphinx emerged, a majestic being, half woman, half lion, her eyes gleaming with ancient wisdom. "Travelers of the Jewett, why do you seek the heart of the desert?" She posed, her voice a melodic enigma that danced on the wind. Anubis stepped forward, courage surging within him. "We seek the hidden relic, a weapon to restore balance and vanquish the chaos that threatens our realms." The Sphinx regarded them thoughtfully, her gaze piercing through the facade of their divinity. "To claim what you seek, you must answer my riddles. Only the worthy shall pass." The gods exchanged glances, anticipation mingling with anxiety. "We accept your challenge," Anubis declared, determination etched upon his brow. The Sphinx nodded, her voice echoing across the sands. First riddle, I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? The gods pondered, the weight of the riddle hanging in the air. An echo, Horus shouted, a surge of triumph igniting the atmosphere. The Sphinx smiled, nodding with approval. You have answered correctly, but the next riddle is for your heart to ponder. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Anubis's brow furrowed, contemplating the essence of the riddle. Steps, the more you take, the more you leave behind. Indeed, the Sphinx replied, her eyes glimmering with approval. You are wise, but do you possess the resolve to face the final trial? Speak it and we shall see, Anubis challenged, resolve echoing through his tone. Very well, the Sphinx intoned. This is not a riddle but a trial of spirit. You must face your greatest fears and emerge unscathed. Only then will you claim the relic. The air crackled with energy, and before them loomed a swirling vortex of shadows, a maelstrom of their deepest insecurities and regrets. Anubis felt the weight of lost souls, the echoes of their screams reverberating within him. Stay strong, he urged the gods, his heart racing. We must confront our fears together. As they stepped into the swirling darkness, Anubis found himself engulfed in visions, memories of lost souls, of Osiris's sacrifice, of every choice that had led him to this moment. The shadows whispered doubts, reminding him of his failures, of the burdens he carried as the judge of souls. Can you save them? A voice hissed, echoing through the void. You failed once, what makes you think you can succeed again? I am not alone, Anubis declared, defiance burning in his heart. Together we can conquer this darkness. Beside him, Isis faced her own fears, visions of her brother's sacrifice, the weight of loss threatening to crush her spirit. Osiris's light will guide us, she shouted, channeling her sorrow into strength. Horus, filled with determination, rose above the whispers of doubt, his wings unfurling against the shadows. As the gods ventured deeper into the maelstrom of shadows, Anubis felt the weight of despair close in, thick and suffocating, pressing against the very essence of his being. The darkness swirled around them, whispering secrets meant to shatter their resolve. But within that darkness lay a flicker of light, the enduring bonds of brotherhood and honor. Remember the sacrifice of Osiris, Anubis shouted, his voice cutting through the whispers like a blade. He gave his all for the balance. We must honor his legacy and emerge victorious. Beside him, Isis clutched her heart, feeling the sting of loss as memories of her brother's kindness surfaced. Osiris believed in the cycle of life and death, she murmured, her voice a tether to reality. We will not let his sacrifice be in vain. Horus, soaring above the chaos, felt his wings tremble with the weight of the shadows. Face your fears, my kin. We are the gods of the duet and the living. Together, we are stronger than any darkness. The whispers around them grew louder, morphing into agonizing cries that clawed at their sanity. Anubis felt the chilling fingers of regret wrap around his heart. I have judged so many souls, he murmured, his voice shaking. What if I have wronged them? What if I have cast the innocent into darkness? Suddenly, a figure materialized from the shadows, a wraith-like visage of a soul he had judged unjustly. You will always carry the weight of those you condemned. It shrieked, its voice an echo of torment. You cannot escape your mistakes, Anubis. They haunt you. No, Anubis roared, igniting the fire within him. I am not defined by my past failures. I will learn from them, and I will fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. In that moment of defiance, the shadows quivered, retreating slightly as if they were challenged. Anubis felt a surge of power, a renewed sense of purpose flowing through him. He turned to his companions, their eyes reflecting the same fire. Together, we can face whatever nightmares this darkness conjures, Anubis declared, his voice a rallying cry. Do not waver. Let our bond be the light that pierces the depths. With renewed determination, they pressed forward, facing the swirling vortex of despair together. The shadows shifted and writhed, morphing into monstrous forms, creatures born of their deepest fears. Khepri's laughter echoed from the void, his grotesque beetle-like form looming larger, eyes glimmering with malice. "Look at them, my lord," Khepri taunted, pointing a claw at the gods. "Heroes of the duet reduced to mere mortals. How easily despair consumes the proud." "Let them come," Anubis bellowed, brandishing his dagger. "We are no mere mortals. We are the guardians of balance, and we shall not yield to chaos." With a ferocity that ignited the air, the gods charged forward, their powers blending into a radiant shield against the encroaching darkness. Horus soared above, unleashing gusts of wind that disrupted the shadows, while Isis called forth vines of light to ensnare their nightmarish foes. "Hold fast," Isis shouted, weaving her magic into the air. "We will not falter. For every soul lost, we shall protect 100 more." The monsters lunged, claws raking through the air, but the divine light kept them at bay. Anubis struck with precision, his dagger slashing through the darkness, illuminating the path ahead. "We must break through this illusion," he cried, his heart racing. "Whatever fears they manifest, we are stronger." The shadows twisted, revealing the faces of the souls Anubis had judged in life, each one reflecting the regret that clawed at his heart. "You condemned me to the void, Anubis," one soul wailed, teetering on the edge of despair. "You cast me aside when I needed you most. Your choices led you here," Anubis shouted, struggling against the torrent of guilt that surged within him. "I offered judgment, not malice. I am here to protect the balance, and I will not abandon you again." With each proclamation, the swirling darkness recoiled, the anguished faces fading momentarily as the gods pressed on. They forged through the tide of despair, each step a testament to their will. The Sphinx's voice echoed in their minds, a reminder that they were worthy, that they would prevail. Suddenly, Khepri surged forward, rage fueling his every move as he lunged for Anubis. "You think you can escape your judgment?" he bellowed, claws outstretched, a tempest of chaos ready to consume. "I shall feast upon your heart." Anubis met Khepri's advance with fierce determination, his dagger poised to strike. "You will not claim another soul this day," he shouted, channeling the strength of the lost souls and his fellow gods. The blade glimmered with a light that pierced through the shadows, igniting a path of clarity amidst the chaos. In a blur of motion, Anubis thrust the dagger forward, the radiant energy bursting forth, colliding with Khepri's monstrous form. The impact sent shockwaves through the darkness, illuminating the void with a brilliant light. Khepri staggered, momentarily blinded, fury twisting his features. "Fools," Khepri roared, regaining footing, his eyes glinting with malice. "You think this will end me? I will drown your hopes in despair. Not if we stand united." Horus cried, diving into the fray, wings enveloping Khepri in a cyclone of feathers and divine energy. "We are the storms that will sweep away the shadows." As the tumult swirled around them, Anubis pressed forward, feeling the pulse of Osiris's sacrifice drive him onward. "Together, my kin, we have fought against despair before. We will do it again." With a surge of strength, the gods channeled their powers, creating a radiant barrier that enveloped Khepri and the swirling shadows, pushing them back. The darkness writhed, clawing at the light, but the divine energy surged brighter, fueled by the unwavering bond of the gods. Khepri roared, an ear-splitting sound that echoed through the shadows. "You think your light can withstand my chaos? I will drown your hearts in despair and claim this realm." But Anubis, emboldened by the echoes of Osiris's sacrifice, pressed forward. "We are more than the sum of our fears, Khepri. We are the guardians of life and death. You will not prevail." As he plunged his dagger into the heart of the chaos, light exploded forth, a brilliant blast that shattered the shadows and fragmented Khepri's essence. "You will learn the meaning of judgment," Anubis declared, his voice a clarion call against the encroaching darkness. The burst of energy surged outward, illuminating the chamber and dispelling the shadows. Khepri screamed, the sound morphing into a wail that echoed through the void before fading into silence. The darkness receded, revealing the path ahead, the Sphinx standing with a knowing smile. "You have faced your fears and emerged triumphant," she proclaimed, her voice a melody amidst the silence. "The relic is yours, for you have proven your worth." As the last remnants of chaos dissipated, the Sphinx gestured toward an ancient altar, where a weapon of unparalleled beauty lay, crafted from celestial gold and adorned with symbols of the universe. It shimmered like the stars above. "Take the relic," the Sphinx urged, "and may it guide you in your fight against chaos. But remember, the true power lies not in the weapon, but in the unity of your hearts." Anubis stepped forward, awestruck by the relic's brilliance. "Together, we will wield this weapon for the balance of all realms," he vowed, lifting the relic high, its energy pulsating with the echoes of their victory. The gods gathered around, their spirits ignited with purpose as they prepared to return to the duat, ready to face whatever darkness awaited them. Anubis felt the warmth of his kin beside him, the bond they shared stronger than any shadows that may rise again. "Let us seal our victory with this light," Anubis declared, his voice ringing with conviction. "In honor of Osiris, we shall stand as one against Set's chaos. Together, we will protect the realms of the living and the dead." With fierce hearts and unwavering resolve, the gods stepped forth into the light, ready to confront the chaos that awaited them. They would face the darkness anew, armed with the strength of their unity and the relic forged from hope. And as they emerged from the trials of the Sphinx, Anubis felt the pulse of destiny thrumming beneath their feet, a reminder that the journey was far from over. But together, the gods would stand strong, ready to reclaim the mantle of balance and fight for the souls that depended on them. In the distance, the horizon shimmered with the promise of dawn, a new beginning where light met darkness, and the eternal struggle for balance would unfold once more. With every step they took, the gods knew they would face whatever came next, united in purpose, honor, and